You didn't find this video by accident. God brought you here because He has something to say to you. Something unusual is about to happen in your life this week. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already set things in motion. Doors are shifting, alignments are forming, and what looks ordinary is carrying something extraordinary. The question is, will you recognize it before it passes you by? Act 1. The setup for why this week matters. There are moments in life when time feels ordinary, and then there are weeks that shift everything. Scripture tells us that God doesn't simply measure time by hours and days. He works in divine seasons, orchestrating events with precision. A miracle is not random. It is a moment already prepared by heaven, waiting for you to step into alignment. This week is not just another week on the calendar. It is a marked period, a divine appointment that has the potential to transform your circumstances if you are alert enough to see it. Think of how suddenly things changed for Joseph. For years, he endured prison and obscurity, and then, in one day, he was summoned before Pharaoh, interpreted a dream, and became second in command of Egypt. Everything shifted in a single moment because his time had arrived. The same principle is true for the children of Israel at the Red Sea. For generations, they had been bound in slavery. Then, in one night, God parted the waters, and they stepped into freedom. The breakthrough came suddenly, but it had been building for years in the unseen realm. This week may feel ordinary at first glance, but when heaven declares that you are stepping into a week of miracles, it means God has already arranged alignments, connections, and opportunities that will present themselves to you in ways you could not design yourself. The danger, of course, is missing it living distracted, consumed with worry, or too busy to notice that the miraculous is right at your doorstep. Recognizing the signs of a miraculous week, how do you know when it's your appointed week? Miracles rarely announce themselves with thunder and lightning. More often, they begin quietly, small signals that God is moving. Perhaps you receive a phone call you weren't expecting. Maybe a door opens that had been shut for years. It could be a sudden sense of peace about a decision that once caused you fear. These are the whispers of heaven. It's much like the way we watch a story unfold on screen. If you skip the introduction, you may miss the subtle details that foreshadow the ending. God often begins miracles with small alignments. What seems insignificant now may later prove to be the critical turning point. When unusual alignments start to occur, when circumstances begin connecting in ways you couldn't orchestrate, that's a sign God is staging something. Pay attention. Miracles often come disguised as ordinary events. Act 2. The confrontation, the barriers we face yet. Even when miracles are within reach, there are obstacles. The first and greatest enemy of your miracle is doubt. God may open the door, but doubt can keep you from walking through it. Doubt whispers, "This isn't for you. This is too good to be true. You don't deserve it." It plants hesitation in your spirit, and hesitation has stolen more miracles than outright failure ever could. Think of Peter walking on water. As long as his focus was on Jesus, he did the impossible. But the moment he allowed doubt and fear to distract him, he began to sink. The miracle did not stop. His faith did. What if the very thing you've been praying for is arriving at your doorstep, but you talk yourself out of opening the package? Imagine ordering something valuable and then leaving it on the porch because you are convinced it must be a mistake. That's what doubt does. It convinces you that what God sent for you must be for someone else. Faith, then, becomes the currency of miracles. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. And without faith, it is impossible to step into the miraculous. But faith alone isn't enough. Faith must be accompanied by preparation. Preparing your vessel for overflow preparation is proof of expectation. In the story of the widow in 2 Kings, she was told to gather jars. The oil did not stop flowing until the jars stopped. Her preparation determined the measure of her miracle. The same principle applies today. If God sent financial increase into your life tomorrow, would you have the wisdom and systems to manage it, or would it slip through your hands? If God answered your prayer for a new relationship, would you be emotionally ready, or would fear and insecurity sabotage it? Preparation is not wasted time. It is the container into which God pours His blessing. The more you prepare, the greater your capacity for the miraculous. If you are expecting rain, you bring an umbrella. If you are expecting a guest, you prepare a room. If you are expecting God to move, you prepare your heart, your mind, and your circumstances. Too often, people wait passively for miracles, but miracles require participation. You cannot expect abundance if you have done nothing to prepare for it. You cannot expect opportunity if you are unwilling to take the steps that demonstrate readiness. The power of obedience. Every miracle in Scripture was tied to an instruction. When Jesus healed the man with the withered hand, He said, "Stretch out your hand." When the Israelites conquered Jericho, they were instructed to march around the walls. When Peter caught a net-breaking load of fish, it was because he cast his net one more time at the word of Jesus. Obedience unlocks overflow. The instruction may seem small, even illogical, but your willingness to follow it becomes the key that opens heaven's storehouse. This week, God may place instructions in your heart. Call this person. Forgive that offense. Take that small step forward. Invest your time here. Each act of obedience positions you closer to your miracle. Often, people hesitate with a question. What if I obey and nothing happens? But obedience itself is a miracle in motion. Each step of obedience plants a seed that God can multiply. Miracles rarely happen without an act of obedience first. Act 3. The resolution, stepping into the miracle. When you have recognized the signs, fought through doubt, prepared your vessel, and obeyed the instructions, there remains one final step. You must walk boldly. Miracles don't simply fall into your lap. You step into them with faith-filled action. Speak life into your situation. Declare what God has promised. Then walk as though it has already happened. Imagine walking through this week with an expectation that every encounter, every email, every phone call carries divine potential. That expectation doesn't just change your mindset, it shifts the atmosphere around you. Faith attracts favor. Anticipation draws opportunity. Think about the way we constantly check our phones for notifications. Each buzz or vibration gets our immediate attention. That same expectancy should mark your walk with God this week. Constantly look for the divine notification. Constantly refresh your spirit with expectation that breakthrough is close. But here is a truth you must remember. Sometimes the miracle doesn't manifest exactly the way you expected it to. Sometimes it comes disguised as work, as opportunity, as connection, or as challenge. Sometimes you reach the end of the week and think nothing happened, only to realize later that the seeds sown during those 7 days produced a harvest that changed your life. Even when you don't see it immediately, God is still working. The timing of heaven is precise. The miracle may not arrive wrapped the way you imagined, but it will arrive when it serves God's perfect purpose. Living in expectation beyond this week of miracles, is not meant to be an isolated event. It is meant to set a pattern for your life. God does not want you to live from miracle to miracle in desperation. He wants you to live in daily expectation, where miracles become your normal. When you live prepared, obedient, and faith-filled, you stop treating miracles as rare events and begin experiencing them as part of your journey. You begin to walk in divine rhythm, where God's favor and wisdom guide your decisions, where opportunities unfold before you, and where your life becomes a testimony of His goodness. This is not about hype. It is about alignment. God is always ready to move, but He waits for us to align our hearts, our actions, and our faith with His purpose. The miraculous is not a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. It is the inheritance of those who believe. Wealth, wisdom, and miracles for those who desire not only spiritual breakthroughs, but also a wealthy and wise lifestyle. Understand this. Wealth without wisdom is wasted. Miracles without stewardship are squandered. God blesses us not just for personal gain, but to position us as stewards of influence, resources, and opportunity. This week of miracles could open financial doors, but wisdom will determine whether you walk into lasting prosperity or fleeting riches. This week could connect you with the right people, but character will determine whether those relationships grow or wither. Miracles create opportunities, but wisdom sustains them. Wealth and wisdom go hand in hand. To live abundantly is to live responsibly. God provides the miracle, but He also calls you to steward it wisely. Closing the week with bold faith as you step into this week, carry these truths with you. Time is not ordinary when God marks it. Signs of miracles often come quietly. Doubt is the greatest enemy of your breakthrough. Preparation expands your capacity for blessing. Obedience is the key that unlocks overflow. Expectation draws opportunity, and stewardship turns miracles into lasting legacy. This is your week of miracles. Live it boldly. This week is not ordinary. It is set apart. God has already written alignments into your days, and heaven has already released what you've been waiting for. Do not let fear, doubt, or distraction steal it from you. Walk with expectation, speak with faith, and prepare as if the miracle is already yours. Because when God declares that this is your week of miracles, no force on earth can stop it. Step boldly, for your breakthrough is closer than you think.